Hi everybody and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion. So today I thought I'd ask the question, is Prince Andrew guilty of any crimes against Virginia, and I can't remember her surname, Giuffre, that's it. And I do apologise to her family if I pronounced her name incorrectly, which I probably have pronounced her surname incorrectly. So the big question is, because obviously it's all across the national newspapers today, you know, talk that he's handed in his Duke of York, and there's talk that he should have his Prince title taken away from him, and potential investigations that he asked the police to dig up dirt on Virginia and her family. So I thought I'd think about it. Okay, is he actually guilty of committing any crimes? Now, for several years, and I've watched all the programs, the Netflix series, the interviews with a lot of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, and I've spoken to a lot of people, so I've looked into it quite a bit, and I've always wondered, was he actually guilty? Because my biggest problem, and this is my fundamental problem, and I appreciate the woke brigade and people to do with organisations to do with child abuse and sexual abuse and all that kind of stuff are going to come after me for this. Is he actually guilty? Because it's been said that when she was over in the UK and the alleged photo that got taken off them, I'll say it's alleged because he disputes it, okay, but how much can you actually ever really believe that a celebrity or a royal actually says nowadays? That's another argument. Okay, so we'll say it's a legitimate photo, even though he denies it. But she was 17. And she claimed before she passed away that they had sex together on 3 separate occasions. Now, in my book, problem number 1 is the legal age of consent in the UK is 16. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there saying, yeah, but she's an American citizen. And they said, yeah, but it's 18. I said, but she's not in America. She is not in America. It's no different that if an American comes over to the UK, they can't carry guns like they can in America. In certain states, they can carry a gun around and everything. They can't do that. They got to abide by UK law. Same as if I go to America, I've got to abide by American law. Doesn't mean if I go and kill somebody in America, I'm going to be sentenced according to UK law and get off pretty lightly, to be honest, compared to what you would get in America. I'm going to be sentenced according to American law. So that's problem number 1. So let's say, for instance, they did sleep together. Put that argument to bed. Let's say, for instance, they did. He's not guilty of any crime from that. Okay, she's of age. People may say, dirty pervert, she's 17, you're in your 50s or whatever it was, 60s, you know, a bit of a pervert, you know, she's as young as your own daughters and you're sleeping with her, you know, but that's another argument for another day. Now, the second argument is, was she forced into it? Now, the fundamental problem with that argument, who knows, she's dead. She can write what she likes in a book. It doesn't mean it's true. It's no different and I'm going to really get a lot of aggro for this. Okay, it's no different to me basically creating a video slaughtering my ex-girlfriend, who for 16 years has refused to allow me to see my daughter. Now, this is all categorically true. She's refused to allow me to see her. Okay. And I could go and say whatever I like. You know, I've never said anything bad about her. She's a fairly decent person. When I was with her, I had no problem with her. And then I go and kill myself. And that's going to be held online. Now, doesn't mean everything that I've said is true. Just because I've said it. And it's the same with the book that she's written. Just because she's put it in a book. Because the problem is, that's now going to stand a test of time. And there's nothing to go back against. She can't be held accountable for anything she says. And that's where my fundamental problem is. It's not like, for instance, she could be put in a courtroom and she could be questioned about anything that she said. I'm not saying that she would, but in essence, she can't be held accountable because she's not here anymore. Am I surprised she went down the route? No, not really, because if everything is true that happened to her, as much as I don't like people committing suicide, because my own stepfather did that when I was, about 8 years of age. So I know all about suicide. I've had members of my own family that committed suicide. And it destroys families. So the people I feel sorry for are the kids at the end of the day, because she had young children at the end of the day. So I do deeply feel sorry for them. So it boils down to, in my book, is how can this end up ending? Because the way I see it at the moment, this is just going to go on and on and on. And everybody's going to believe that Prince Andrew is this dirty little pervert, which he may well be, okay, that was involved with Jeffrey Epstein and his girlfriend, abused lots of women. But is there any evidence to back that up? Because the FBI have never come over to question him. And if they wanted to, I know they've asked him to go over there, but to be honest, why should he? That's my personal view. You want FBI want to come and speak to me? Come over, I'll speak to you anywhere you want. But I'm not going out of my way to go all the way over to America. They got field officers in Europe. They could easily come and see him and speak to him if they really, really wanted to. Have the Met Police really got involved in it? Not really. You know, yeah, he had a civil case against him, but civil case means jack all in today's society. Doesn't make him guilty of anything. So the fundamental question is, do I believe he's guilty of any crimes in the UK? No, I don't. Unless you can physically prove, which I don't know how you would do it, because I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police officer, I'm not a barrister or anything like that. So I don't know how you could do it. But unless you can physically prove that she was forced to sleep with him, there's no case to answer in the UK. That's my personal opinion. Now, when it comes... But I do have one other thing to say, and I actually said this to my wife. I said to her, why didn't her family do anything? If she's been taken out of America, okay, she's a minor at the end of the day, she's underage, and she's been brought to the UK. Why didn't the family do anything? Why weren't the family calling the police? Why weren't the family calling the FBI or their equivalent of child services, whatever it is? Because in my book, her parents are as accountable as Jeffrey Epstein is. So that's another side to look at. Why did the family do nothing? Now, the other side is America, especially the island that the American Virgin Islands, that's it. I was trying to think of what it's called. The American Virgin Islands, where Jeffrey Epstein owned a home. Now, there's allegations, and there's a lot of allegations, but a lot of high-powered people visited there. It's been rumoured that Prince Andrew did. Been rumoured that, I don't know how much truth's in it, but Bill Clinton did, and other people. I don't know if Bill Clinton actually did, but that's what was rumoured. But I do believe, personally, Prince Andrew probably did commit crimes, either in the States or in the American Virgin Islands. I don't think he's as clean as he's tried to make himself out to be. Now, I may be wrong, personally. I've got no evidence to back it up. It's just the way he comes across. When he speaks, he doesn't look like a completely innocent person. I think he's innocent. What's happened in the UK, technically, morally, probably very guilty for in the UK, but legally, I think he is innocent. But in America, I'm not so sure. So what I would like people to do is let me know what you personally think. Do you think that he's committed crimes in the UK, and also whether he's committed crimes in America? So let us know in the comments down below. Okay, but for now, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.